Beloved Creator, beings of light and love, spirits of all present, we're gathered here now, and we ask for intercession, fortitude, and prevalence in our stand against tyranny of any kind and the many violations of our rights to exercise our judgment, discernment, and individual free will. This is our appeal to heaven and to all heavenly divine energies, that we prevail with so much strength and light that our opposers and our oppressors cannot help but see and can't help but agree. Help us move our communities, our state, our country, and the peoples of our beautiful planet who simply want peace, freedom to live our lives, love our families, and build a better planet. Let it be so, and so it is.
Amen. Thank you, Charlie.
My pleasure.
My name's Ron Vroman. I'm the old white man talking head for the Oregon Statewide General Assembly. This evening, I'd like to talk about several things. This is one of them. This is another. And this is the third one. Everything that we're dealing with is all tied together, all of it. They've had over 100 years to put this together, and they've been working at it for a long time. It just didn't come about recently. They've just gotten enough courage now to change the benevolent predatory form of government, color of law that we've had. They've gotten enough courage now. They think that they've pushed it far enough that they have the right to take away our unalienable rights granted by God. And take my glasses off so I can read. All the cities, all the school districts, all the counties, the state of Oregon, and the United States, Inc. They're all tied together. They're all part of the same corporation. They're all subdivisions. And not one of them is interested in a constitutional Republican form of government. They all know it. People get elected, they're going to do a good job, they get contaminated, and the next thing you know, they don't do a good job. They just think they do. And they're corrupted to the point that it's ridiculous. But we have to take back our country. So the pushback time is here. We cannot give an inch. Not any one of you. If you're going up against the school board or you're going up against the judge, the traffic court, family court, whatever you're going up against, don't give an inch. There is enough help on YouTube, and contact us at orsja.org and we'll help you. We'll show you where to go to get what you need to do. You do not have to go into their court and lose. That's all their court's for, is to gain money for them. The rare times anybody wins are really rare. It takes courage to do this. And I'd like to talk just a little bit about courage. People that are very high in agreeableness, congenial people, people that dislike confrontation, those people don't do it, but they're all seething inside. They have all of those things marked down on a tally sheet in their brain. And they need to do something about it. And if they can't do it because it just is too difficult for them, they can at least tell somebody that feels like they do, that can do it, that they have their support. If you got a guy that's willing to get into the fight and there's 5 people that can't get into the fight but want to support him, well, tell him he's supported. It's got to be. You don't have to get into the fight yourself if you don't have the courage. A little case in point. When we first started this and we went downtown, Ray and I and another founder to the smart, articulate, and we're going to serve some papers on you, Seth. Well, come on up and do it. Uh, but his vibe is so strong that the lady that was with Ray and I, when we got out of there, she would never go back and she soon quit. Can't handle it. Now, on the other hand, at a meeting one time, we needed a document filed at the same place, and I was going to go do it with Ray, and Charlie volunteered. And a good friend of hers that was with us volunteered to go with her. The good friend couldn't make it. Not enough courage, could not drive herself to go through the doors of that building, through all the obstacles, and get to the office on the 6th floor and file the paper. Charlie had to do it by herself. There's not many people around that'll actually do the work. Lots of people will stand back in the crowd, push somebody else forward, but we got to have enough people that'll actually do the work. People that have some courage, that'll stand up. I got an email today from a friend of mine in Oklahoma. He spent 5 hours watching a marathon program on our globalists destroying our food supply chain. Well, of course they are. They've been doing it for a long time. Right now, we've got some help coming. The people in Canada that drive trucks are helping, and I understand there's people all around that drive trucks that are helping. That's the first line that Elon Musk wanted to take out of the workers pool, was truck drivers. He thinks he's got a AI that can do a better job driving his electric truck. All we have to do is put in all the wires all over the nation so that these electric trucks can drive down the road and, like an old-time trolley car, put up a scraper and scrape along a wire and recharge their batteries while they're en route. All we have to do is fork over the money for that infrastructure. And I think that's silly. It doesn't work. The only way that we're going to get through this is by using science and by using God and by using our own innate intelligence. Windmills cannot provide electricity when it's needed. They can only provide electricity when the wind blows. You know, they spend billions of dollars on these huge windmills. What the hell? So anyhow, 5 hours of watching it, and he sent me an email, and he ticked off all the things that were in the video. And it was a great video. I'm sure it was. There was lots of things in it. And he listed them all off, and I went through all of them and I checked them all off. And when you have a preponderance of evidence that you already know enough that you know this is wrong, then stop looking and start taking action. That's what's needed. We have strong people in our group, and they want to go off globally, and they want to do all of these big things and all encompassing. And that's good, but that's not what we need to do. We're trying to get Oregon. We just can't get into everybody else's case. And we just can't provide them with time and energy from our limited resources to help them. They got to do Canada, do it yourself. Everybody's got to do it for themselves. Nobody can do it for you. Now, I'm glad a lot of places are doing common law, but common law only comes to the Five Eyes countries. That's where English common law went. Every other country has their own law form. Spain, France, Germany, all of them have their own law form from ancient times. They are responsible for doing it for themselves. But then when you look at what they're doing, they've imported so many foreign, mostly Muslims, into France, Germany, and England and Italy that they have completely disrupted their society. The birth rate is so low in those countries, and their importing of foreigners is so high that they are going to lose their country unless they do something very drastic. That's the way it is. So please take your eyes off of global and focus your eyes on Oregon or your state. We have several things going. A lady in Pennsylvania taught me about a claim of conusance. This is not between people and persons. This is not between a man and a court. If you're a man or a woman on Oregon and you're not a U.S. citizen, a member of the military, or a sworn cop, then you're in the de jure, even if you work for the de facto. So if you're in the de jure, you got to do the work. You got to make yourself known. We all have to do it. When we look at this, and we do our very best, we have to come up with the information that'll help us. One of them is this one. Richard L. Koenig on literacy. Richard is our fugitive. There's a bogus arrest warrant out for him. And Paige Clarkson, the district attorney of Marion County, won't lift it. And she acquiesced to a claim of conusance, so she's totally illegal. She's totally unlawful, and nobody will do anything to her. Interesting. That has to change. The next thing is the Oregon Health Authority, the one that is making most of the trouble for Kate Brown, for people and persons on Oregon with this whole COVID fraud. The Oregon Health Authority, there is no lawful entity within the Oregon Health Authority. It is bogus color of law, corporate governance, unlawfully usurping authority not granted by the people. It was unlawfully created by a creation known as State of Oregon, aka all caps State of Oregon, to rule over the creator, which is the people on Oregon, in color of law. Now you have to do a little bit of work and a little bit of study to figure out just what the hell I'm talking about. But you have to do that. We can't do it for you. We can give you all the information. You got to chew your own food and you got to read your own documents. The entire state of Oregon judiciary, executive, and legislative is bogus. Totally illegal, de facto, unlawful, illegitimate. Now, how do we convince the Oregonian walking around out there that's absolutely sure that things are going wrong, this is not how it should be? We got to do something to fix it. We've got to do something to correct it. But they just keep wandering around, not doing anything. Maybe there's a group big enough to get the people to actually comprehend what's going on. This claim of conusance, yep. A claim of conusance says from our court, the people's court, the civilian court of record, that we lawfully constituted it, and it has been accepted and acquiesced to by the feds, the states, the counties, the municipalities, all of them. Nobody will rebut a thing we said. A claim of conusance says the jurisdiction that the de facto courts on Oregon has no jurisdiction over men, women, and children. If you've got that information, and we've got it for you, and you don't want to do what they're telling you to do, you can lawfully refuse and show them how you're lawfully refusing. Not just words, not just I'm not going to do that, but documentation to prove your point that since the beginning of the United States of America's experiment into anarchy, because that's what it is. Anarchy means no ruler. That's what the United States of America is. There is no ruler. The United States is subservient to each and every state. And the states are subservient to the people on the land and soil of that state. And somehow we've got to get that message across. Now, the guy I was talking to you earlier about, Seth, an attorney for the USA in downtown DOJ, all the letters, he sent me an email recently cautioning me not to do something that would put me and others into prison. Well, thank you, Seth. I appreciate that. He cautioned me about all the things that we are not going to do. We already knew we weren't going to do them. We're not going to get into that area. We know where we are. We know who we are. We know what our jurisdiction is. We know what our status is. And it's just like those people in Canada. When you put enough people in the Canadian capital with enough cars and cause enough trouble long enough, the legislature of Canada will have a vote of confidence on Trudeau. And guess what? They'll find that he's not competent and he has not got their confidence, and he'll be gone. Parliamentary form of government. But they don't have a republic there. That has to be done. There's a guy named Kevin working on it. I hope he makes it. They passed a law in '82 making Canada a chartered republic. And they can't hold it. They took it away from them. And Kevin and the truckers are taking it back. Bless them. I'd like to read a little bit about our claim of conusance. It's an intervention by a third party, one of the people, in a suit claiming the sovereign Oregonian herein named, that's you, the flesh and blood, mind, body, soul, man, woman, child, has rightful jurisdiction of the cause, which the persons in the de facto jurisdiction have commenced out of the sovereign Oregonian's de jure jurisdiction. This is a matter of jurisdiction. This is an Oregonian man, woman, or child, one of the people, not a person, not a U.S. citizen or a United States citizen or an all-cap United States citizen, nor a citizen of any of its subdivisions, including businesses operating in de facto on Oregon under the auspices of state of Oregon and its subdivisions. There is no authority that can change the unalienable rights of a man, woman, and child as guaranteed by our Constitution to an unlawful mandate by a de facto color of law state of Oregon officials, read Oregon Health Authority, such as being required to wear a mask, restricted from entering a public building or any building open to the public without a mask, distancing, testing, vaccination requirements, etc. But that's not the fight. The real fight is returning to a constitutional Republican form of government where we have unalienable rights guaranteed by God, and we're not going to give them up. Not back down an inch. Press them. Take the next step forward. Do the very best you can. unalienable rights are granted by God and guaranteed by the United States of America's Constitution and Oregon's Constitution. These apply to all flesh, blood, body, mind, spirit, soul, men, women, children. There is no imposing any restrictions on us. The benevolent, predatory form of martial law and color of law has to be destroyed. We have to take the whole thing out. We have to do Article 1, Section 1 of the Oregon's Constitution. And if I've got a copy handy, I'll read it again. Article 1, Section 1 of Oregon's Constitution. We declare that all men, when they form a social compact, are equal in right, that all power is inherent in the people, and all free governments are founded on their authority and instituted for their peace, safety, and happiness, and they have at all times a right to alter, reform, or abolish the government in such manner as they may think proper. We don't have to ask anybody's permission to do any of this. And we're not. We're telling them, and we're doing it. It would help if we had a crowd the size they have in Quebec. That'd help. And I yield. Thank you, William.
They do not want to let go of this. They do not intend on losing here. And we do not intend giving it back to them.
And then the bullets started flying. And then he jumps out of the car. And he's got both his hands up.
And he got out of the car, and he had his hands in the air. He's like, just shoot me then. This is what you want, just shoot me. And they did. They shot him dead. With his hands in the air, and I saw it. I swear to God. He was just walking with his hands in the air. And they shot him. And they shot him dead, and then after he was down on the ground, they shot him 3 more times.